also destroy all the seashore manganese, the mangroves.
Yeah.
So there you go. We're in for a struggle.
Kaieteur Radio.
Covering Guyana from coast to coast.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio. Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Hello, thank you for tuning into Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. Welcome to your news at noon. These are the top stories we're tracking. Government launches probe into ExxonMobil's $18 million signing bonus and says charges to follow soon against ex-finance minister. Businesswoman found dead in her shop, husband arrested. Man caught in camera stealing sleeping guard's gun captured. And media report says $1.2 billion spent to improve ICT sector. And cops who raped woman in station gets 25 years each. And Stopper Block partner funds 18 UG scholarships, half going to Amerindian students. Stay tuned to stay informed.
Guyana, join me on the Glenn Lal Show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:20 p.m. and a rebroadcast at 11 a.m. The Glenn Lal Show only on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM.
And now for the news in detail. Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandlal disclosed yesterday that an investigation will be launched into the controversial $18 million signing bonus that the previous coalition administration received from ExxonMobil back in 2016 and placed into a special account at the Bank of Guyana. Nandlal noted that the role of former Finance Minister Winston Jordan would be examined since he had denied that the coalition ever received the money. It was only after it was exposed in the media that the former minister eventually admitted to its receipt and existence. Nandlal disclosed that the files regarding the case will be handed over to the Guyana Police Force, with charges against Jordan likely to follow soon. Following this announcement by the Legal Affairs Minister, Jordan issued a statement to the effect that any insinuation that he was involved in any nefarious transaction concerning the signing bonus is utterly untrue. In other news, a businesswoman was on Wednesday found dead in her grocery shop at Pepper Hill, Mahdia, Region 8, with blood oozing from her nose and mouth. According to investigations, the woman, identified as 47-year-old Denise Vera, was also bleeding from wounds to the face, and multiple marks of violence were seen about her body. Region 8 detectives are currently treating the case as a murder and have reported that they believe that Vera was killed between 13 hours 15 and 13 hours 45. They have arrested a suspect whom they identified as her husband, a 33-year-old pork knocker. Neighbors told detectives that moments before she was found dead, they overheard a confrontation between her and the suspected killer, where she yelled at him to get out of her yard. Moments later, around 13 hours 30, Vera's husband was reportedly seen leaving the yard. And now let's tell you, police have arrested a suspect they believe was the one caught on CCTV cameras stealing a gun from a sleeping security guard on Wednesday. The video showed that the man tiptoed to where the weapon was, picked up the gun, and quietly walked to the fence and escaped. The man was reportedly arrested yesterday after police found the stolen weapon, along with matching ammunition, in his possession at a location in Campbellville. In other news, the finance minister, that should be the Ministry of Finance's mid-year report, revealed that $1.2 billion of the $2.3 billion allocated was expended during the first half of the year. to provide continuous connectivity services to government entities, support for the development and maintenance of the information and communications technology sector, and for the endorsement of ICT literacy. The ICT sector continues to play a pivotal role in social and economic development as Guyana becomes more permeated with technology-intensive industries. However, to facilitate the strategic development of the ICT sector, the National ICT Strategic Plan is currently being developed, which will provide a multi-sectoral blueprint that Guyana will utilize to ensure the successful development and deployment of ICT for the betterment of all citizens. The ICT sector will be based on two fundamental pillars: the growth of ICT as an independent, dynamic sector, and the application of ICT as a cross-cutting component in all other sectors to achieve rapid and sustained development. And moving on, ExxonMobil's partner in the Stabroek Block, Sinnock Petroleum Guyana Limited, disclosed yesterday that it will be funding 18 scholarships for professional executive energy training at the University of Guyana's Institute for Energy Diplomacy. This initiative is said to be part of the Institute's aim to deliver energy upskilling in line with local content requirements and Sinnock's long-term commitment to help develop the technical capacity of Guyana and its people. The 18 scholarships, to be coordinated by the Institute of Energy Diplomacy, will enable individuals from remote areas of Guyana to undertake upskilling in energy economics, finance, management, and law. According to a statement to the press, 9 of the 18 scholarships are being awarded to applicants from the Amerindian tribes and areas outside of the Georgetown area. You're listening to Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and of course 99.5 FM. This is your news at noon. We will return after the break.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
This is the
Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. 2 policemen who were found guilty of raping a woman at the Turkine police station on January 1st, 2018 have been sentenced to 25 years each for the crime. The 2 convicted rapists, 29-year-old Delon Chapman and 35-year-old Leon Ashby, were sentenced yesterday at the High Court in Georgetown. Despite their conviction, both men pleaded their innocence before the court. They each claimed that the charges were trumped up against them. However, the prosecution, which was represented by state attorneys Sarah Martin and Nafisa Bage, stated that the men not only engaged in a criminal act, but they breached their oath to serve and protect, which they both made before serving as members of the Guyana Police Force. And moving on. Guyanese candidates have attained overall higher than average results when compared to the performance of their regional counterparts at the CSEC and CAPE examinations. Director of Operations at the CXC, Dr. Nicole Manning, noted students across the Caribbean performed creditably at the CSEC and CAPE examinations this year, though faced with several challenges. Her remarks came ahead of the release of regional results for CSEC and CAPE examinations, which are slated for today. Candidates are expected to have their access to the results online from this evening. As it relates to Guyana, Dr. Manning said about 75% of the Guyanese candidates who were registered had received acceptable grades compared to the region's 68%. She explained that for CSEC, acceptable passes from grades 1 to 3 and for the CAPE grades 1 to 5 are considered acceptable. Now for the COVID-19 update, followed by the page 7 of the Kaieteur News, after which we will wrap up today's news at noon. With the deaths of 3 more persons, Guyana's COVID-19 death toll has moved to 851. This is according to information released by the Ministry of Health yesterday. The deaths, two of which occurred on October 12th and one on September 26th last, are that of an unvaccinated 68-year-old woman from Kayuni Mazuruni, a 63-year-old unvaccinated man from Pomeroon Supernam, and a 70-year-old woman from Demerara Mahika, whose vaccination status is unknown. As of yesterday, there were 150 new cases. The ministry reported too that there are 36 patients in the COVID-19 ICU, 23 in institutional quarantine, 3,535 in home isolation, and 116 in institutional isolation. To date, a total of 29,435 persons have recovered from the virus. The cost for the airport expansion project keeps inching up. While this happens, Minister Edgell and former Minister Patterson hurl grenades at each other about whose government is responsible for this crab dog of a project. Now, Minister Edgell sneaked in that his government is to spend 600 million Guyana dollars more on the project. Minister Edgell thinks he is smooth. He makes a statement about millions and then disappears for a week or two. Then he usually returns with another and another, couple hundred million for this project. What is getting done? Who really is getting this money? Minister Edgell may think he is smooth. We think all of his slimy and is leading this country to slip and slide like it usually does. And with that, we've come to the end of today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
GHK Lal on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Welcome to Friday, October 15th and the National Outlook. We close off this week with corruption, alleged corruption. From last Saturday edition of Kaieteur newspaper, Permanent Secretary caught red-handed collecting bribe, sent on leave pending an investigation. Now, it doesn't get any more senior than a permanent secretary, a PS. After the minister, the political head, the PS is the chief administrative officer, the chief financial officer, the chief ethics officer, and I stop there. Chief operations officer, you throw in all those chiefs. The PS is that person. And we have this permanent secretary here who is caught on tape taking a bribe. Now, it's alleged. Let's always remember that it's alleged, but I don't think the tape lies. I don't think the evidence of the tape can be confronted successfully. It is what it is. Whether she was set up, I don't want to hear. Don't come near to me. Don't come with that nonsense next to me. But according to the victim, is that this was demanded of him. According to him, this was demanded of him, and it got so overbearing that he's like, listen, I got to do something about it. And he did, and this. Now, somebody else said, if this is so with this PS, then she was stupid. Look, let me get to the bottom of this. I disagree with this. I can take stupid. I can take ignorant. That's why I'm still around here. I have to deal with a lot of stupid and ignorant people in this country, right up to the top. But here's the story. I can't take corrupt. Alleged corruption, in this case, it looks pretty red-handed. In the flagrante delicto, right? As we say it. You're caught naked. So we'll stick with alleged to give everybody fairness. But if you are corrupt, then these things happen. I don't want to be in the same room
with one person who I know got taint around them, or they're doing business, big or even small business. You know why? Nobody can say that I touched them. I'm not giving them that opportunity. Nobody can say I asked them for anything. I'm not giving them that opportunity. And nobody can say they give anything to me. You know why? Because that's the culture we have here. And don't allow ourselves, Madam PS, Mr. PS, Dr. PS, Minister, President, Vice President, let us conduct ourselves in this way. Everything out in the open. Everything out on the table. This is how we do business here. This is how I do business. I know that this government went and dug, rightly so. I'm glad they did it at the Gold Board, to put corruption on me, and they couldn't get any because there's none. So they come up with some nonsense on social media. That's how slick the government is. That's how criminal this government is. But you know what? There's nothing for me to forgive because I hold them no malice. If they have a problem with what I say on this radio program or write in the newspapers, then come out and confront me openly. Use the same media channels that I use and deal with it. Let all of us see who's telling the truth. So when a permanent secretary is alleged to have engaged and is caught red-handed in such a sordid, shabby, dirty business, how many more are there around? What is going to happen with her case? Is it going to get covered up? Is it going to disappear? Somebody's going to withdraw and say, well, look, I took it too far or whatever, or they just refuse to speak. We've got a lot of corruption in this country. Let's agree with that, my fellow citizens. We need to do something about it. I'm glad we started here. Let's take it elsewhere. All those other ministries, all those other leaders, government and opposition, don't spare any. Let's clean up this country. I know I'm talking to the wind. I'm GHK Lal on Kaieteur Radio, 99.1, 99.5 FM. Thank you for listening to the National Outlook today and this week. Have a good weekend.
Fellow Guyanese, after the newscast at 12 noon every day, I am dedicating some clips with extremely important information pertaining to Guyana's future. Please, I beg you, take some time and listen to them. It is for your interest and future generations. This is a message from Glenn Lal saying thanks for listening to the Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Guyana, brothers and sisters, hear what we getting in royalty out of the Aurora gold mine contract. This foreign Chinese people that come in and took over from the Canadian. Please, don't be distracted. Keep your ears open and listen to me carefully. Royalty is the meat of our product, of anybody's product. This is the heart of business. This is where you have to really benefit from the things you own. When you do business with somebody, with your product, your wealth, you must make money. You just got to come out smiling, shining. You must be able to sling fat gold chain and diamond rings to show off your wealth, to show that you are really wealthy and rich. Living in mansions, driving Mercedes-Benz, living like kings and queens from a deal with anybody. That's your wealth. Instead, the contract where Robert Passad and Sam Hines them signed with the Aurora gold mine have the gold people them. The gold people them living like kings and queens, driving the Mercedes-Benz, BMW and Lexus, drinking champagne and fine wine, eating chicken and prawns, fish and steak. And the Guyanese people, is left to collect the gravy, the lele. Them can eat at New Drive-In. Them can eat at the new restaurant, Sarwan Open, the Marriott, the Pegasus, and all them high-class places. Drink the best. And the money, them decide for give we in royalty. You can barely buy a pack of Pampers or a baby milk. Can you believe that? Yes. You can't even afford the cheapest Chinese food in this country. The AGM royalty, our leaders agreed to. Our brothers and sisters will continue to drive donkey cart and ride bicycle and push carts. Kaieteur News said the gold company decides what royalty Guyana gets. The people them respond, the gold people them respond, and them didn't deny it. All them say is that they're paying whatever rate is specified, and they're up to date with their payments. But here what the contracts say, what they're paying. I want to read them, I want to quote them. The applicable gold royalty shall be determined in accordance with the following. The percentage of royalty is 5% and 8%. That's what it says. It says the 5% is when you sell the gold at $1,000 or less US. And 8% is when you sell the gold for any amount over 1,001 cents US dollars. I love that. I love it. This contract is the best thing. Maybe I gotta ask these people to make a contract like this for me to keep in my memory. The contract specify that the company pays royalty only on the price them sell gold at. It does not have to be the world market price. This there in the contract, guys. Y'all understand what I mean? You guys really understand what I just read there? Well, this is not robbery. This is like we invite these people to come here, pick up our gold, our diamond, and go along with it. Take it. And throw whatever y'all want to throw at Guyana. That's what it means. And we have to accept whatever they throw at us. That is what those words mean. This is the contract our leaders sign. Listen, people. Please listen. Our local gold miners have to pay their gold. Them gotta carry their gold to the gold board and sell them at the world market price. And gold board take out their full 5% after it is sold. You hear that? On world market price. Listen, people. Listen, brothers and sisters. Our local gold miners have to take their gold to the gold board and sell them at the world market price. And then the gold board take out their 5%, 7% or 8% royalties on the world market price. On top of that, those miners got to go to GRA and pay their fair share of taxes on the business they're doing. But here how we get the royalty from AGM. And I guess all the rest of the foreign companies. I am not certain of the rest. I'm certain on this one. I'm talking about Aurora. the contract that I just read there. Them don't have to carry their gold to the gold board for we to take out our 5% on the world market price. No. They are allowed to sell them gold to anybody, even the family, for whatever price they feel like selling it for, not the world market price, which is $1,800. That's the price today. Them can sell it for $500 an ounce and then pay Guyana 5% on that $500. Let me repeat. Them can sell the gold to them uncle, their wife, their brother, their sister for $100 an ounce and pay Guyana 5% of that $100 when the world market price is $1,800. Let me do the maths for y'all. If we get 5% on $1,800, Guyana is entitled to $90 on every ounce. If them sell it for $100, Guyana get $5. That is business. Our leaders, we leaders, doing in this country. Man, that is in the contract. Glenn Lal is not talking out of his head. It's in the contract. That is the plan to how Guyana will develop according to our leaders. That is investment. Robert Prasad them signed that contract and Sam Hines defending it. He write a letter in the newspapers. He said them get a land for $1,000 acre. They get duty free. Them get tax free. Them only paying 10% on fuel. Them allowed to pay what them want to pay in royalties. While we brothers and sisters, the Guyanese, who doing the same business, have to pay all their taxes, pay 3.5 times more for their diesel and gasoline, pay the full royalties plus taxes. And these leaders we have in this country, these financial gurus, these business people running this land, and see nothing wrong with that. What a Guyana we live in. This is beautiful Guyana. My fellow Guyanese, the contract has more to talk about, because remember them say them come to do underground mining. Them is the best in the world. Them say that. The royalty part of this large scale underground mining, what the region never see before, this provision is tricky and more dangerous. Them say, this is what they say, if the feasibility study show that they wouldn't be able to sustain this underground mining, digging out we gold, then the government got to flex with them and don't charge any extra 3% that they promise to pay on that 5%. So basically, it means them could keep selling gold when they dig it out under the same arrangement for royalty and keep flinging pennies at we. This is the kind of contract we leaders sign on to. I have been in the newspaper business for 27 years, and I have seen corruption, thievery, and crime of all magnitude. But what is being revealed of lately through these contracts, it is mind-boggling to say the least. It is heartbreaking, unthinkable, unimaginable. The betrayal of our livelihoods by our leaders.